Because this blew my mind. This blew my mind.
Heard of bodegas selling so-called loosies, meaning individual cigarettes. Now, with egg prices skyrocketing, some bodegas have a similar plan for eggs. Erica Lunsford covers the Bronx and went to see how sales are going.
While speaking with the owner of Pamela Green's Deli, he says the idea to sell the loose eggs came after seeing customers being forced to leave a full carton on the counter.
3 eggs for $2.99. That's
Bruh. 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 It's got that bad out there? It's gotten that bad out there in New York. We selling loosey eggs? Stop playing, yo. These tariffs done got that crazy high? See, this is what we was talking about before with the tariffs. This is what we mean with the tariffs. When the goods start to get higher than what they are. This is what we were talking about with the tariffs. When the expensive goods that are usually imported and not even made here are harder to get, shit is going to raise. Bruh, eggs are being sold. I think it was like, what are eggs now? Like $12 to $15 a fucking carton? Oh, Bronx been doing this particular. Well, they just now reported it. This has just now been reported. So I mean, yeah, the Bronx is very far ahead with that. A Lucy egg. We're selling Lucy eggs now. This is what we are diminished to. Like I said, eggs done got too damn high. This is what I said. It's going to get like this for chicken. I'm telling you, niggas is going to start selling $3.99 for 3 chicken wings. Mark my words. It's gonna be $3.99 for 3 chicken wings. Niggas gonna be like, damn, I can get like 6 wings for like, you know what I'm saying, $7. Niggas gonna be selling $1 a wing now. Telling you, watch this shit. Cause I was wondering the last time I went to the grocery store and the cheapest bag of chicken. I kid you not, but my chest been fucked up ever since I ate it. I don't think I should have ate it. Fucking Smokehouse Daddy Chicken, $3.72. Something I was like, oh shit, let me snatch that. $3.72, budget. But I don't think it was a good idea. Big ass bag of chicken for $3.72. That was a bad idea. It's fucking my system up. It's fucking me up already. Straight from DC, what's going on? Bacon by the slice. Your eggs is $4 in Texas. That's what I'm talking about. That's what eggs need to be. Oh no, I already know about that. That's all bodegas. All bodegas have that. Every bodega has that with Lucy's. That's not new. That part is not new. But the loose eggs, that's new. That's new. That's new. How much is eggs right now? How much is eggs right now? Price range between $6 to $27. Hold up. Fish and chips in Brooklyn. Oh no, hold on. I said eggs. They said GG's. Hold on. Got you. Eggs, New York was $4.80. Why are you saying $4? Okay. I thought eggs was like $12. They made it sound like. Eggs prices too. Okay, so this is just the average price, but they're not saying what the price actually is. So what are the stores selling it? Why are eggs $10? Okay, see that's what I'm saying. Why are average prices eggs 12 eggs $10? It's saying that the eggs are they're $4.95 each. A dozen large white eggs were $5.49 at Fairway. That's 5 days ago. Okay, so it just happened. This literally just happened where the price got raised like 2 days. I guess it happened like a day or two ago where the price of eggs just went up. This is CBS News. Lane said it costs about $20 a month to feed the chickens. Saves his family about $120 a month. Yeah, see, this is what it was. Okay, so a day ago they raised the price. So the price of 12 eggs large in New York City is $8. So it's double. So Texas, you're saying it's $4. It's double that here in well, not here, but it's double in New York City. I don't know what the price is here. I haven't bought eggs in a minute. A whole day's wage for a loaf of bread. It's crazy out here. WW, what's going on? Fury B, you lying. Y'all have a chicken on. Y'all have a family chicken on the block. Fury B, a whole rooster. I say a good morning. This is wild. The Bronx is another world in itself. Someone need to do a whole documentary on a week in the Bronx. Just surviving on a week in the Bronx. I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, 3% increase in inflation. I seen him at the grocery store today for six. Ooh, shit. $16.99. Renting 2 chickens a month for $500. So this is that's what I said. The tariffs are fucking people up, bruh. They is fucking up. Oh, they are fucking up a lot of business owners because they can't afford the cost of wholesale no more. So shit is getting even more expensive out here. $500 to rent chickens. To rent the chickens. Damn. Yeah, I would leave that shit on the counter too. You tell me some $16.99 for some carton eggs. I'm leaving that bitch on the counter too. I'm leaving that bitch on the counter too. That's the thing. A carton of that bitch is $8. $8. That's a lot. So I mean, the people that be buying like the big ass cartons, like the 24 packs and shit, they're probably like $20, $30 right now. Golly. I see why they doing Lucy eggs. Talking about some $3.99 for 2 eggs. $3.99 for 2 eggs. Come on now. You could have got the whole carton for the price of them 6 eggs. You could have got the whole carton. Come on now. Y'all hustling the hell out of them people. Now I'm thinking about it. $3.99 for 2 eggs. You hustling the hell out of them people. You hustling the Bronx should be ashamed of themselves. I just did the math in my head. $3.99 for 2 eggs. That don't even make no damn sense. Carton of eggs, $8. That mean for like I said, you went to the store 3 times for them 2 eggs. You could have bought the whole goddamn carton. New York City for you. Speaking of New York City, though. Speaking of New York City. New York City, Merrick Adams will now be beholden to President Trump, critics say. The Department of Justice orders to end the corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. So I believe he got pardoned. By Trump. Excuse me. It has not come as a surprise to some elected officials. Many believe the meeting he had with President Trump, even before the inauguration, in a recent visit to the Washington, D.C., set the stage for the DOJ's memo on Monday that directed the Southern District of New York to dump the charges. No, the order is not official just yet, for it still has to be approved by the judge overseeing the case. Mayor Eric Adams' loyalty must be to New York City government, Holchel says. Many are wondering if the mayor's close relationship with Trump will compromise his ability to put New Yorkers first. Governor Kathy Hochul was asked that very question at her own news conference on Tuesday. Do I think he's compromised? That is speculation. He's very compromised. I don't know. I don't know whether anyone is compromised in that situation. I truly do not know. I have to believe that the mayor is going to put the interests of New York City first, and I'm going to continue monitoring the situation, Hochul said. The mayor has publicly said he believes he was a target of the Biden administration because he was a critical of its immigration policy. Hochul, who has the power to remove the mayor from office, said regardless of the reasons for the investigation, Adams has to have his priorities in order moving forward. So pretty much she's going to be watching him with a hawk eye. I encourage the mayor to examine all of his actions and to know that he is going to be under a spotlight to make sure that the people have confidence that there has been no reason why he would not take a certain action, that he is to demonstrate to New Yorkers that he is putting them first, above all, including the White House. That's how it has to be, Hochul said. The government is advising the mayor to focus on public safety and steering the city in the right direction. The Reverend Al Sharpton also took issue with the DOJ's order to end the case. I am concerned about last night's developments, particularly that this directive says the mayor should not go to trial so he can work on President Trump's policies on immigration and crime. So I get that. I kind of get that because he doesn't have anything to do with it. Eric Adams doesn't have anything to do with what Trump's doing. Trump's doing whatever the fuck he want to do. Eric Adams is just trying to get in good graces of him and just stay his ass out of jail, which I understand that. He's facing a lot of time. So him being pardoned by Trump, he's really just trying to stay in his good graces. I don't think he's going to do anything to pretty much. Now that Diddy's behind bars, he doesn't have really anything to worry about as far as being blackmailed. It is unheard of a criminal justice proceeding to suggest you not deal with the criminal allegations for a political or policy reason. So if the mayor were to disagree with the president, does that mean they have the right to call a trial on him at any time? It certainly sounds like President Trump is holding the mayor hostage, Sharpton said. I have supported the mayor, but he has been put in an unfair position even for him, or essentially political blackmail. President Trump had pardoned January 6 rioters who beat police, but did not pardon the mayor, who may be guilty. The argument that prosecutors cannot bring a case 9 months before a primary is nonsense. That's true. It's very true. Considering that would also preclude any congressional candidate from running every 2 years. They're talking to New Yorkers as if we have no sense of a game being played. And didn't I say that, though? Him even being a Freemason is a huge slap in the face here. When we have the ability to spot one before it even starts. So that's another thing I want to very much put out, right? Always remember this part. The very week that he got indicted, this happened. Always keep this in mind. The very week he got indicted, he was also inducted into being a Master Mason. Mayor Adams named Master Mason in secret Freemason ceremony at Gracie Mansion. This was the week that he got the fucking indictment. The very same week, the nigga was inducted into being a Master Mason. Do you really think he was going to jail? Does that smile look like he think he was going to jail from the get-go? I'm just saying. This is how they play in our face. This is what they talking about with the game that's being played. Cherie Purnell, what's going on? I feel bougie buying grapes. Don't forget there's bird flu. And that was part of the reason why the eggs are so expensive, because they kill. Oh, that's true. That's true. I've been hearing about Louisiana having this crazy bird flu too. Mr. King Ozma has been keeping me posted on that. The crazy fog that's there and the bird flu. Louisiana just seemed like an experiment town. Them in New York City just seem like a big experiment town right now. And someone pointed out that a lot of movies, if you notice, are very apocalyptic to New York, if you know what I mean. A lot of movies have New York just getting blown the fuck up, blown to bits, crumbles to ashes. A lot of movies have war in New York City. That's not a coincidence. John Nasitasi, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I said, the way that they have, like I said, the fog and the bird, the way that they are just using all of these different, they're implementing so many different things to increase depopulation in general in Louisiana is what fucks with me so bad. It really bothers me how they just using the town as an experiment, and how, like I said, New York City is pretty much gonna be ground zero again. I keep saying that New York City is ground zero for real. When shit really hit the fan in New York City, oh man. Speaking of which, because they are trying to take the middle class out from underneath people's feet. And I don't like it.
Starter homes are disappearing from the United States. In the early 1980s, as many as 40% of the new homes built were considered entry-level. By 2023, just 9% fit the criteria.
Give it another 20 years and literally no young person will be able to afford.
Yeah, we don't have to wait 20 years for that to happen, because here in New York City, it's already happening. And while the prices for entry-level homes here start at around $200,000, for most people, living in these places becomes impossible after a year or two, because spending that amount of money will only get you a one-room, one-person studio in most of the city, making New York a place that's quickly running out of room for most of its residents. And the worst part about this is nobody in charge seems to care if New York's middle class disappears permanently.
Manhattan real estate sales stalled for 2 years as buyers and sellers just remained too far apart on price. Now the sellers are caving. The average apartment price in Manhattan will now cost you only $2 million.
Yeah, a starter home used to be a smaller condo, a smaller space, and someone would upgrade maybe after 5 years as they get married or have a family and want to move. But now we're actually seeing that most people are buying their first home as a single family residence.
Rents have been steadily rising in New York City in recent years, but incomes have not kept pace. Median rents in New York City rose 18%.
A new survey reveals 85% of New Yorkers say the cost of food is rising faster than their income. Nearly half of the people surveyed say it's harder to afford groceries and find themselves cutting back on healthy stuff. Meats, poultry, fish, eggs are up nearly 25%.
Just thinking about all of the headwinds that a 30-year-old may have, like student loan debt and car loans and credit card debt, and then they have rising rent. And so it's hard to save for a down payment.
So if you thought homes in America were overpriced, here it's newsworthy when something hits the market for under $1 million. And what nobody's talking about is this unaffordability crisis. It's only going to get worse in New York, because it's not just the home prices here that are forcing average people to leave the city. Literally everything in this city that has a dollar sign on it costs more here than it does anywhere else. Want milk? That'll cost you almost $10 a gallon. Deodorant? Get ready to fork over $20 to not smell like the rest of the city. Speaking of smells, if you're brave enough to take the subway to work in the morning and put your life on the line, that'll cost you almost $3. All to work for a paycheck that in most cases will not cover your rent. Something 1 out of every 3 New Yorkers spend half their income on every single month, leaving folks with very few opportunities to save anything, let alone buy a place and build wealth. Something the middle class in America has traditionally done through home ownership. You start working, buy a home, and it builds equity, increases in value, and serves as your primary residence. At least that's how things are supposed to work. But here, that home you bought, it's a one-room apartment for one person only, and it could technically be a primary residence, but if you get married and your life expands in any way, you'll be forced to move out of that place faster than you can say eviction, which is essentially what's happening to New York City's working class. They're being evicted from this city by a series of economic factors that none of our wealthy progressive elites think are actually a big deal. High apartment prices? Who cares about that when you've got a job sitting at a desk somewhere earning hundreds of thousands in income, which you can use to buy the overpriced eggs at our supermarkets without batting an eye. And if you have no desire to ever build a family or expand your life, living in a one-room apartment isn't a big deal either, and you won't need that $800,000 two-bedroom we just saw a news article about. And as you're about to see, anybody who wants to own something that's bigger than a tiny shoebox apartment here, they're gonna need a way to get filthy rich.
So we know something crazy? Like, that's wild. 3,000 a month. That's wild right there. I know LA is different. LA and New York City are probably in Las Vegas. Let me see. New York City. I'm not gonna say Texas. Not gonna put Texas in that because some of Texas, not all of Texas, is a little bit expensive. When I was browsing for places, like when Spectrum was saying, "Yeah, we want you to move here, 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 or there," I was looking at San Antonio and Dallas, Texas, but economy-wise, it wasn't in my budget necessarily to move there, and then weed wasn't legal, so I was like, yo, I'm kind of used to dispensaries now, so I skipped Texas. And I did the same thing with Florida. Florida was a little bit too damn high. LA, I know, is very high. Very, very high. New York City, very, very high. They want 3 to 4 times the income. Nigga, why? Why do you want me to make way more than I'm already making to afford this place? Why? If I was making 3 to 4 times the rent, nigga, I wouldn't be coming to you. I would have a house. What the fuck do I need to? That shit was just ridiculous. 3 to 4 times the income. I mean the rent. Nigga, what? I might as well get a mortgage. I'm 11 here plus with fees. I'm 11 here with fees for one. So I can only imagine the shit going on in New York. I can only imagine. But when they said Rochester, I said no. I'm getting away from snow. I'm getting away from cold and snow. See, here I can deal with the snow. The little snowstorm they had here, this is fine. That was fine. The shit that's in New York City that bury your car every year for 4 to 5 months out the damn year. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. Right, you can't even qualify for the apartment, some of them. Look at that. See, in LA, eggs are 11 a dozen. Shit is expensive in LA. Shit is expensive. But the way they are doing the country at whole right now, and this is the thing we were talking about with Project 2020. We spoke about this specifically with Project 2025. This is one of the major plans, and it's already being implemented in the country. The raise of rent and the raise of products and produce. I should say, the raise of produce and apartments. And I should say housing. The raise of housing, cost of living in general. That will wipe out the middle class. That is all a part of Project 2025 and Trump's plan to literally wipe out the middle class. And it's just the poor and the rich. New York City is getting the first hand part of that beta test experiment. Shit is getting wild, wild west.
Look at this place. It's like a labyrinth. And if you sleep in that bedroom and you're hungry, look at that. You can make yourself a snack right here. You got the stove and the fridge all in this one spot. That's pretty good. But renting this for $3,500 a month is way cheaper than buying it for over $800,000, which is the price of that other 2-bedroom. But this is what you'd consider to be a starter home or a starter apartment. It's the right size for somebody or a couple, maybe who are starting out professionally and don't have a whole lot of stuff. And traditionally, somebody starting out in the workforce would be able to scrape together a small down payment after a few years and get something like this. But if that's no longer possible and people are paying rent their entire professional lives, that really screws up what have been the traditional ways the working class has built wealth and taken care of themselves after they retire. And certainly this dynamic of unaffordable starter homes and homes in general isn't unique to just New York. It's happening everywhere.
The starter homes are disappearing from the United States. In the early 1980s, as many as 40% of the new homes built were considered entry-level. By 2023, just 9% fit the criteria.
Give it another 20 years and literally no young person will be able to afford to purchase a home, period.
Yeah, so in New York City, you don't really have starter homes that someone starting out would be able to afford. In fact, anything that's getting purchased around here is probably getting purchased by somebody who is already...
Look at my man bathroom. My man had to squeeze to sit his ass up just now. Yo, this is why I said I'm not moving back to New York. I'm not doing it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. This is stress. This is stress. I would have not been able to do it. New York is, when I was just in Binghamton, it's bad enough it's always raining. Like, that's another thing about Binghamton. It's bad enough that every fucking day it is cloudy and just raining. It's bad enough I got that. I have nothing but brick buildings, no scenery around me. It is just miserable existence. New York City is just miserable fucking existence. I'm sorry to say it. As I said, I love my city, but I fucking hate being there. It's just miserable fucking existence there. 77, what's going on? It is just miserable. I don't like it. But that shit right there, like, look how he is squeezing to even stand up and talk to us right now. In that little ass spot that you gotta take a shit and have your moment of peace. That is your place of peace. Taking a shit is a place of peace. And look where he has to take a shit at. That's not peace. That's not peace. I don't know what that is. That's misery. This is misery.
Of means. And the reason that this is such a disaster is because if you're able to own what becomes your primary residence and then sell it after a while, well, it means you'll be able to recoup what is the largest expense.
But this is $3,500 for a jailhouse. This is a goddamn halfway house. What the fuck is this in here? Right, your whole apartment smell like your shit. What is going on here? He ain't even got a door in the bathroom. What the fuck is going on in here? Now, see, in these circumstances, the only convenience to being a man in this particular situation is that you ain't got to piss in the shower. You could turn around and the toilet right there. That's what I'm saying. You couldn't even be over 145 pounds being in this goddamn bathroom. A 200-pound person got one leg in the shower taking a piss. What is this? This is $3,500? I would have told the realtor, I said, you stay in there. And you think about this. Would you charge me $3,500 for standing in the bathroom? Would you? Huh? Would you pay $3,500 standing in this fucking bathroom? You got to be out your fucking mind.
Most people have housing. Man, this is definitely a tight sink. This might be a starter home for somebody who just became old.
My nigga. This is what I can't even say. Jail. People in jail have more space than this washing their hands. You gonna bump your goddamn hair brushing your teeth? What is this? What is going on in this space right here? I don't get this right here. This is uncomfortable even for a midget. A kid space definitely. A toddler could definitely fit here. Somebody 13, mom, dad, can I use your bathroom? Nigga, that is the bathroom.
Old enough to start washing their hands by themselves. Man, look at this. My arms are stuck. But you know something? Every apartment in this city is like this to an extent, and you can either rent something like this or you can
This nigga can reach the tub in the sink from the shower. This is the whole new meaning to a wraparound. I want to reiterate, this is $3,500. What y'all are witnessing and looking at is a $3,500 apartment in New York City. But let me also be clear. This might not, I don't know if this is the Bronx or not, but this might be Manhattan. So let me also say that living in Manhattan, you out your fucking mind in general. unless you work for Wall Street, don't get no goddamn apartment in Manhattan. You out your goddamn mind. But see, the average immigrant coming in there that don't have no money, or the average person in general coming to Manhattan that don't have no money and don't know no better, is going to be struggling paying this $3,500 and thinking that they living good. This is not living good. I'm saying a nigga going to be standing up with one leg up taking a piss like he a dog, bro. Like, what is going on here?
way overpay to say that you own something like this. But the problem of a lack of starter homes in this country, it causes a couple of problems. The first problem, obviously, is the whole dynamic of how people build wealth through home ownership instead of paying rent. But the second problem it causes is that eventually it'll push up rental prices beyond what most people can afford. And that's where we find ourselves in this city. We've now run out of affordable homes across the rental market and the sales market. And some people say things may be past the point of no return. And if you look across the street here, you can see the obvious problem here. We aren't building new buildings. All of these tiny little buildings here, they have to be replaced by the exact same thing if they ever fall down.
$3,500 for the view next door. This is your view for $3,500. The niggas across the street. This is why I hate New York City. This is why I hate New York City. This is your view for $3,500. The niggas across the street that's probably looking at your shit too. So you gotta keep your blinds down in case there's a broke nigga across the street that wanna rob your ass. That's New York City. That's the basis of New York City. Keep your blinds down in case somebody across the street wanna rob you. In case somebody walking by might see your TV and say, "Oh, that's a nice ass TV." Let me knock on his door. That type of shit you gotta worry about in New York City. This is some bullshit for $3,500. This is some bullshit. And I can only imagine the shit across the street. Look how close they are together. Living in a box. Tiny little boxes.
Even though you could triple the amount of people living in each plot here if you just allowed taller buildings, New York zoning laws do not allow that. And that's why most of the real estate that you find in this city looks and feels like where we are right now. However, the lack of new construction isn't the only reason why housing prices haven't gone down to what most people can afford. Sadly, there's a much bigger monster out there that's holding many people back financially, stopping them from...
That's another thing I don't miss. The goddamn steam right the fuck there. Just raising your, you looking at $500 right there in your electric bill. Just looking at this hurt my eyes and my head. Cause yes, this nigga right here crank out the heat. This motherfucker right here behind him crank out the heat. But this shit right here, it's gonna cost you. This shit right here is what's gonna cost you the most in that fucking apartment. This nigga right here behind you is that goddamn heat being up in the winter. I'm telling you right now. That's why I'm thankful for electric. I'm thankful for when I saw Essential Air, I said, Essential Air, the best thing smoking for a place. You see that nigga in the house with a baseboard, run for the hills. Run for the motherfucking hills. You see the baseboard or this steam nigga back here. Cause your shit gonna be sky high. You thought your groceries was high? You thought your nigga what? But they crank out the heat though. That's why he was standing there like that. Like you are a bill on a loan. You are a stress alone.
Owning homes, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon.
The premium paid to buy a home has increased sharply relative to renting over the past decade. The increases in home prices have also outpaced increases in wages, and the median age of the typical first-time home buyer has climbed to 38. That's up from age 29 in 1981.
So people used to buy what would be considered starter homes in their 20s, but now people are buying those same homes in their 40s, essentially. Now, one recent report has...
Time out. No, we run that back. Now, I would like to be very clear. He is standing in his bedroom. Because he said that before. He is standing in his bedroom. Let me be very clear. The bedroom. My nigga feet reach the door in the bed. Where is the bed gonna fit? Like, where are you gonna angle this fucking bed? There definitely ain't gonna be a queen size in this bitch. I tell you that much. A twin take up half the room. This is his bedroom he's standing in right now for $3,500. Head just hitting the window. Look at the seal right there. Hard ass seal right there. This is a shame.
1981.
So people used to buy what would be considered starter homes in their 20s, but now people are buying those same homes in their 40s, essentially. Now, one recent report has the average sale price of a home in Manhattan costing $2 million, which is just an insane amount of money. Well, let's say you're able to find one for $1 million. Here, I found one. It's got terrible pictures, which are shrunken down for some reason. But look at that, $999,000. And what do you have for a monthly payment? Well, you've got a mortgage payment, which is going to be around $7,000 a month, and then maintenance fees, which include taxes, of around $1,900 a month. $9,000 a month to experience home ownership. You could rent a home and take the other $5,000 plus a month that you're saving and invest that money somewhere else and get a return on that. Home ownership almost doesn't make sense for many people in New York right now, but because of the rental prices, neither does renting, unfortunately. Now, yes, you could drastically increase the number of starter homes here if you would build more of them. However, we don't just have restrictive zoning rules. We've got another problem. Look out this window here. Look at all these buildings packed up next to each other. There isn't any vacant land or any space to build new stuff. The only way to build here is up.
It's a whole alleyway in the other view, bruh. You can see the bums in the alleyway. This is life in New York City. This when they say you can come to the Big Apple, make anything happen. Make what the fuck happen? What the fuck? Ain't nothing even happening in your house. What is go? This shit is jail.
And we're not allowing that for some reason. I guess we still want to be able to see the sky, which of course won't be possible if you fill up all the empty space we've got here.
That is the average view in New York City. You just hear sirens at night. People won't shut the fuck up. You hear music and cars passing by, and that is your view. That is the average night in New York City. I'm telling you right now. Because I have been plenty of apartments to tell you. This is the average night in New York City. You come home to this view of misery. You sit there and eat your bowl of Captain Crunch and listen to the outside for your entertainment. Because half the time it's just the news and whatever you got on PBS, whatever came on cable on your small ass TV. Shit is bad. This shit is bad.
With a bunch of skyscrapers. And if you were to do that, blocking the view of everybody that owns a home right now would devalue the price of their homes.
I think you asked where the closet was. I think it's right in front of him. Wherever that is.
Feeling that people who already own something now are totally against the idea of newcomers to the homeownership game like me or you, which has a lot to do with why there's so much opposition to new home construction or taller buildings in general. However, New York City is so much further down the doom spiral of unaffordable home prices that it should be serving.
That's how you know he ain't got no other view. He done came back to the same nigga that's across the street, just went right next door.
As a canary in the coal mine, so to speak, for other cities that don't want to build homes either. Only it isn't able to serve in that manner for itself for some reason.
Now new data backs it up. Rents have been steadily rising in New York City in recent years, but incomes have not kept pace. The Fiscal Policy Institute just released a report that found that median rents in New York City rose 18% between 2019 and 2023. During that same period, incomes only grew by just over 11%.
So the only way that incomes can rise slower than rents are rising is if you have a shortage of places to rent, which is where we are right now. We're actually in the worst housing crisis New York City has seen in the last 50 years. It's crazy. 1.4% of apartments are even available to be rented. And right now the average upfront costs to rent something are $13,000, an amount of money that would bankrupt most people. And what that creates is a situation where you have people who are stuck in an apartment where they might be paying too much to move, or where they might be missing out on certain aspects of life, but moving from that apartment.
Imagine you opening your window, you see that big ass cloud of fumes just coming through your shit.
It would cost so much money that they end up staying there. And God forbid you lose your security deposit when you move. Oh man, that's an extra month of rent on top of that.
See, right now, it's a nigga that came in there with that 3,500, got an 8-ball, and got the pot out. I'm trying to tell you, it just thought about it.
$13,000, and then the movers, I mean, you could be paying $20,000, revealing that everyone who rents here is a prisoner to some extent. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, if renting's a bad move and if housing demand is so high, why don't I just buy every place I live in? For example, if all I can afford is a studio apartment for a couple $100,000, if I've got the money for it, I'll buy it. Well, you could technically go and do that, but the problem is a one-room apartment might not be a place that you can live in for a very long time. And statistically, if your housing needs change within 5 years and you sell within that period, you'll lose money. And this rule is known as the 5-year rule. But here's why it doesn't always apply, especially in overpriced markets like New York. This is a one-room, one-bathroom apartment. It's a studio, and it costs almost $500,000.
$465,000 for decency. For decency. $500,000 for decency in New York City. And this is why niggas is moving to Thailand.
And if you look down here, the last recorded closing was back in 2016 for around the same price, which is what it's selling for today. Whoever bought this thing 9 years ago is gonna lose money on it. And even if they sell it for the exact same price, they still have to pay the broker's commission. They have all the costs of owning it, the carrying costs. And if the home you buy here doesn't go up in value, that could blow up all of your plans for financial freedom and wealth building for sure. But losing money on your primary residence, if that's the worst thing that happens to you in New York, consider yourself lucky, because now prices are so high that even buying the things that are supposed to go in the apartment and keep you alive while you live here is becoming impossible for most people.
And this is why most niggas is getting a futon, a TV stand, and a laptop and calling it a day. Because you got to live day to day with the rest of the money. Look at water. 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 This look like the fucking generic water that's in there. That
This is crazy. $2.49 for the basic Walgreens water brand. That is crazy. But it's not just Walgreens. Every store here that sells anything has prices that are much higher than most people expect. And in fact, they're so high.
I mean, you in Walgreens though, my nigga. You go to Walmart, a little bit different possibly. Matter of fact, go to what's the shit with the cactus? What's the shit with the cactus? I'm trying to think now. What's my shit with the cactus? I go to the cactus. I'm trying to think. What the hell is that? The name of that place? What was the name of that damn thing with the cactus mascot? Western Beef. Take your ass to Western Beef. Go to Western Beef and get the cheap. I used to go get, I shit you not, I used to go get, for wholesale, the macaroni and cheese boxes that was like 29 cents. I used to rack up on them shits. Get the milk in there for like $2-3 and a stick of butter. That bitch lasts you about a good week. Juju, what's going on? That's what I'm saying. Don't go into Walgreens. Walgreens like you taking your ass to yeah. Walgreens you might as well be going to Target or some shit. I'm trying to think of the other one. There's another one besides Walgreens. I can't remember the name of it right now, but yeah, it's pretty high in there. It's pretty high in general. He bugging even going in there trying to buy some water.
That many people are having problems feeding themselves, and food insecurity is a real deal here when people are also trying to pay their overpriced rents.
85% of New Yorkers say the cost of food is rising faster than their income. Nearly half of the people surveyed say it's harder to afford groceries and find themselves cutting back on healthy stuff.
You know something? This sounds just like the housing market.
That's what I'm saying. You in front of the Dwayne Reed, my nigga. That shit expensive. The Dwayne Reed expensive, my nigga. Very big, I'm talking about the Western motherfucking beef. The Western beef, that wholesale shit you walk around, that shit like an Aldi's. That's the Aldi's in New York City. I think Aldi's is in New York now, but that's like the Aldi's in New York City for real. Western beef. Take your ass to Western beef. It's hard to find one, but if you find one, you a lucky nigga. You go to Western beef and get some the wholesale shit for cheap.
85% of New Yorkers report that the costs to buy food are rising way faster than they can afford, with things like cereals and baking products being 26% more expensive than they were in 18. Milk and eggs, those are up 25%. Fruits and vegetables, those are up 17%. And astronomical grocery prices are just another way.
Nigga, it's almost $10 a box. That's $10 a box. Who the fuck?
Being 26% more expensive than they were in 18. Milk and eggs.
Nigga, that's $12 of milk. Great Scott. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh, child. $10 a gallon. Might as well say $10, $11 a gallon. My God. Yeah, cereal and milk, $20. Oh, shit. And that's the thing. That's the average size box. You ain't getting but 5 or 6 bowls out of it. You got to share that amongst the family. If it's just you only getting about 5 or 6 bowls out that bitch if you stretch it. Oh, shit.
Those are up 25%. Fruits and vegetables, those are up 17%. And astronomical grocery prices are just another way the middle class here is being squeezed and forced out of this city. Basic apartments, those cost too much. Basic foods at the grocery store, those also cost too much. Now, food prices are rising due to factors that are related to the production of the very foods we're...
Now, let me also add, because he's not explaining this, he is also in the organic section. Organic costs more. That's the problem. Organic costs way more. So if you want to eat healthy and want to eat right, yes, it's expensive as a bitch. But if you want to just fuck yourself up and just say fuck it with everybody else in the country, you about $5 less.
Consuming, yes, but that's not the only reason prices are high in a city like New York. You've got other issues like theft, which causes a lot of stuff to get stolen. And if people are stealing their groceries instead of paying for them, that's just going to jack up prices. And 93% of grocers said they were shoplifted from in 2023. That's absurd. But that's not the only problem you've got in New York. You've got the high rent, you've got the high costs of labor. All of that jacks up the price that a given thing of rose oil moisturizing hand cream has to sell for. But out of control rents aren't the only problem a store like this is going to have. They've got out of control utility costs as well. Any business that uses water for any reason now has to pay more for it because of new taxes that the city charged itself and then passed along to landlords and companies like this grocery store. But it's one thing to have high rent along with a high cost for obtaining the products you want to sell in your store. At least you can account for what those are. They don't typically change on a week-by-week basis, but shoplifting, that is unpredictable. A store could be fine for a while, and then it could get hit big time, and massive amounts of products could get removed from the shelves.
For the small Tide, it was $15. Oh, shit. For the small Tide Paws, it's $15. Right, nobody got organic money. Ooh. That was rough to see just now. Goddamn detergent was $15.
How on earth does a business fight that? Sure, they can fight it by adding the security guard that Trader Joe's has, but that costs money, and if a whole bunch of products get stolen, the only way to get that back...
See, his crazy thing is he stopped. I'm glad he stopped just to acknowledge that part right there. Because, again, that's what you go to sleep to at night. The street that he's listening to right now is your average day in New York City and your average night trying to go to sleep with.
To raise the prices of everything that's still left.
Shit sound crazy outside.
On the shelves. And businesses here have it so bad already. We just talked about the theft. That's an astronomical problem. And the rents for stores like this, those are going up even higher because what theft does is it shuts down other profitable businesses in other parts of town. And the landlord that owns the place behind me right here probably has other storefronts elsewhere that are empty. And he's looking at these guys and the apartments that are upstairs. These guys right here. And what's crazy about that is most people don't realize that if their rent goes up, it's because a store that your landlord owns may have just closed and he's dividing up what he's losing between everybody who pays him rent for something else. Now, obviously, this is a massive disaster, but what is New York City to do? Should we start building taller buildings? Do we block out the sky so that people can now afford to have a roof over their heads? And what do you think about this whole idea of starter homes? Should those even be a thing in New York, or should those be built in areas of town that are inherently less expensive to build and create properties in to begin with? And lastly, what do you think about this dynamic between those who own a home and already have one and their inherent opposition to new housing construction? After all, new houses devalue the value of current houses. Let me know. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.
It's crazy. That decent one that he was just looking at, like this one right here, this would be the upper echelon. This would be like the $5,000-$6,000 apartments for some shit like this. Or maybe the $500,000 that he was talking about. Just for the decency like this. And look how tight space even this shit is. Like you come in and everything's just right there. Your kitchen nice. You got a nice little brick, you know what I'm saying? It's decent right here with the windows that look nice and quiet. This is decent in New York City. What you looking at right here. This studio apartment right here is decent in New York City. You walk in, the bedroom right there on the other side probably, with the bathroom right there, the same way he had the other one. Probably a tight-ass bathroom to the left, bedroom right there on the right, small-ass bedroom, and then there's your living room. That's your fucking living room right there he looking at. Why is always so 15-minute cities. The city that never sleeps. That's really why it's so noisy. That's why they call it that. The city that never sleeps. Looks like a hotel room. But no, this is your average studio right here that you're looking at. And this is probably more expensive than the one he was in. Just by judging by the newness of that kitchen right there and that steel fridge right there, that bitch easily double what he was paying in the one he just had. The bedroom probably a little bit more spacious. Just a little bit more cozy to fit the queen size in. That right there probably about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. I'm telling you right now. If that one he was in was 35, that's about 4 or 5 right now. Shit bad. Shit is bad in New York City. That's why I keep telling my move. It's other places. It's other places of opportunity. Leave. Just go. It ain't it no more. It's not it no more. New York City ain't what it is no more. At all. And the fact that it's harder and harder to make a living than actually live is why I say it is the most miserable experience you could ever have. Literally the most miserable experience you could ever be involved in. It's literally stress land. Because like Fury B pointed out, right? Well, no, what had happened was it pointed out the people that do live here. Yes, NYC is Babylon, which we're going to get to in a second too. Ironically, you said that. NYC is Babylon. The fall of Babylon. The nation really is Babylon, but NYC in general, yes. NYC in general. Because that's what it says, it's going to be ground zero. They're going to fall first. New York City is going to be the first to get hit. The hardest. And it already is. Like I said, what happened was, they pointed out earlier, even the people that do have these homes and the person that does afford this bit of peace and decency right here is not even at home. Understand that part. He's not even at home to enjoy this right now. He's at work, working endless hours, and then when he gets off work, he has to work even more just to keep paying for extra things and groceries. That is the average cost. That's the average person in New York City right now. They are literally working around the clock to maybe sleep 4 to 5 hours in a place that they can barely afford to stay in. That's the reality. It's a very fucked up reality, but that's the reality of New York City right now.